What's up, and welcome to another edition of Locked On NBA, the biggest stories with the local experts. I'm your host, Jackson Gatlin, also host of Locked On Rockets right here on the Locked On Podcast Network. Today, we'll be chatting with John Karalis from Locked On Celtics as the Celtics fall the Golden State Warriors by a final score of 107-88 in Game 2 of the NBA Finals. What went wrong for the Boston Celtics in this game, especially in the third quarter? What adjustments do they need to make to get back into this series as things shift to Boston? But first, a quick message from our friends over at BetOnline, because BetOnline is your number one source for all of your sports betting stats and info. Find the latest sports developments, news, and odds, including this year's NBA playoffs, NHL hockey conference finals, Major League Baseball, and of course, all the latest fighting news from MMA, UFC, even boxing. BetOnline is your continued source for all of your sports wagering information from live betting, esports, and more. And right now, you can take a look at the series props for the NBA Finals for Game 3 between the Boston Celtics and the Golden State Warriors. Right now on the money line, Celtics are minus 115, Warriors are minus 105. So for all of that and more, head to their website today or use your mobile device to learn more about the trends in action available to you. BetOnline, it's where the game starts. Joining us now live from the Bay is John Karalis from Locked On Celtics and Locked On NBA, who you can follow on Twitter at John_Karalis. John, this was a 2-point game at halftime, and death, taxes, Golden State Warriors third quarter runs put this game away. Final score 107-88 here in Game 2 in the Bay. First off, how much of Boston's struggles to you were self-inflicted, especially over the course of that third quarter?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of what Boston did, what cost them was self-inflicted. 33 points off of turnovers for the Celtics. I said this with Cyrus when we did our crossover episode. I said it on my podcast a ton. This series comes down to which team wins the points off of turnovers in any specific game. Whichever team wins that 4 times wins this series, because they're both high turnover teams. They're both teams prone to doing this, and the Celtics did it a lot in this game. And look, in that third quarter, 5 turnovers for 11 points. So it's not just turnovers, it's the live ball turnovers, it's the steals, it's all of that stuff. You said 2 points at halftime. I'll do you one better. 6 points with 4:17 to go in the third quarter. So the Celtics took the hit from the Warriors and responded somewhat. They did well enough to be in the game with 4 minutes to go in that third quarter. And then it was just Curry, Poole, like it was just one after another. The Celtics' problem is once they start turning the ball over, they don't stop. It just keeps cascading.
You talk about, right, being able to kind of weather that initial punch early in the quarter, and then towards the end, kind of everything falling apart a little bit there. The storm just kind of coming from the Warriors. How much does that speak to the depth that this Boston Celtics team is kind of facing when you look at the Warriors? And yeah, they've got their starters in there with Steph and Clay and Wiggins, and then you've got a guy like Poole that you can bring off the bench and keep the heat coming that the Celtics are having to deal with.
Well, yeah, but not only that, you saw new elements in this game. You saw Gary Payton II come in. You saw Nemanja Bjelica come in and make their contributions as well for, little stretches here and there, but it's just a different element, a different style, a different person that you have to say, oh, okay, we got to account for this guy now. And that's meaningful. That's one of the strengths that the Warriors have, because those other guys are so good. Draymond, who was very active and very much an instigator in this game, knows how to play with these guys. Steph is Steph, and Clay, even though like these guys aren't exactly what they used to be, but those 3 guys, you surround them with certain role players, and hey, one day it's two guys, and one day it's 2 different guys, and you have to account for that. And the Celtics certainly, I think, were, I don't want to say thrown off, but they had a tough time dealing with that.
Possible silver lining here in this game: Jayson Tatum, 28 points, 8 of 19 overall, shooting 6 of 9 from deep. A far cry, significantly better than the 3 of 17 performance that he had in Game 1, at least as far as like just getting the ball into the bucket. Is that at least one positive takeaway that the Celtics can have from this one?
Yeah, I'll be honest with you, Jackson. I thought he played better in Game 1. and he just missed shots. I think he hit shots, like he hit some open shots and hit some tough shots, which obviously is a positive. When someone's not shooting well and then they come back and they find their stroke, that's important. But I think what Tatum also had 4 turnovers, and they were all live ball turnovers, and 2 of them led to Steph Curry 3-pointers. So he got caught in that same, mix of problems that have cost the Celtics a bunch in throughout the playoffs. I think Tatum, my number one thing for Jayson Tatum is he needs to stop playing like this is Milwaukee and Miami, where those 2 teams protect the rim at all costs. And I think he's spent a month trying to go through tricks and jump through hoops to try to, grift for fouls and try to get to the line, because you can't score at the rim against Milwaukee and Miami. The Warriors will let you score at the rim. It's much easier. They don't have a ton of rim protection. He's still playing like he's playing against rim protection. So he's got to go out there and just understand that, dude, you got broad shoulders, man. You're a big beast. You gotta be less Kobe and more Giannis, and just go north-south and go through people. And if he does that, he'll still get the free throws, but he's gonna start dominating the series if he can just understand, oh yeah, I'm bigger. I can get to the rim. Those guys can't stop me from getting to the rim. He can change the style of play, go back to how we played against Brooklyn, and understand that this series is different. Once he gets there, I think the Celtics can do well.
Yeah, the Celtics, you look at the numbers, just the shooting numbers overall, 15 of 37 from 3 for 40.5%. That's phenomenal. But then you go to the 2-point shooting, just 15 of 43 for 34.8%. They had some opportunities at the rim, but to your point, right, it didn't quite look like Jayson Tatum was, just bulldozing his way to the rim, maybe trying to be a little bit too creative at times.
Looking for fouls and not looking for the shot. That's the thing. It's James Harden can do that, but this isn't that. If you go up there and drive and you're looking for fouls, and then you look for the shot afterwards, when you don't get the foul, then the shot's harder to hit.
You look at the other starters for the Celtics. Al Horford, just 2 points, only 4 shots, a couple turnovers there. Marcus Smart, just 2 points, 1 of 6 shooting. I mean, how much more? I mean, obviously they need production from those guys to be better, but how much of that was just about the way that the Warriors were taking away opportunities from them offensively to maybe get going?
Yeah, I thought the Warriors did a good job. They flipped Klay Thompson onto Al Horford, which was a smart move. They put Draymond onto Jaylen Brown a lot, and we saw that kind of materialize in some pushing and shoving. And look, you play physical with Jaylen, you try to get into his head. Smart. This is a smart team over there with the Warriors. So I do think that you take away Al Horford. That was an important floor spacer. And if he didn't even get a look, he didn't, never mind a shot. He didn't get a shot from 3, but he didn't even get a look that he passed up from 3. So they did a good job on the ancillary players. But again, when they do that, that has to be the signal to Tatum that you got to go and attack, and Jaylen Brown as well. But Tatum primarily, because he's the number one option, and he's going to have the ball in his hands a lot, and he has that ability. So they can get those guys those open looks, Smart, Horford, everybody else, when the Celtics start attacking the rim and sucking in that defense, and then start kicking it out. The Celtics did a poor job getting the paint touches in this game, and I think they need to get back to that.
If you're the Celtics, John, despite losing here in game 2, how confident are you, having already just stolen the one game you need, in the Bay from game 1, you're tied up series 1-1, heading, as things shift back to Boston?
Yeah, I mean, obviously that's a big positive, right? You come in, you win game 1, and you put it out there, hey, we can win on the road. And the Celtics, the other positive for the Celtics is they haven't lost 2 in a row in forever. And so hopefully that can continue. Now, on the downside, the Celtics haven't exactly protected home court. So you think here and you say, all right, well, the Celtics stole one. They got the split that they're looking for. And you go home, you protect home court, you win this thing in 6, plan the parade. But the Celtics have a better road record than home record. And so they need to make sure they take care of business. at home and not relax and think, okay, we're home, crowd's going to carry us, we'll be fine. They still have that issue. So yeah, it's a big positive to go back home and understand, like, hey, you win game 3, you win game 4, you protect home court, you do your job. Now you got a 3-1 lead, and you got a couple more chances to go out there and, close this thing out. But you still got to go out there and actually do the job.
And that's a lot easier said than done, unfortunately. But what adjustments will the Celtics make, heading into game 3? Will they be able to protect home court as the series shifts back to Boston? You're going to have us covered for all of that and more, of course, over at Locked On Celtics. John, appreciate you stopping by Locked On NBA with me.
You got it, man.